This channel is called Attract Great Guys, not Turn Off Great Guys. So let's talk about something that almost all people do that just happens to be the #1 turnoff for high quality men. So this is really important to address. I'm talking about being critical or complaining. And hold on, before you click out, you might be saying, well, Jason, don't worry. I don't criticize. I'm not a complainer. Well, let me tell you, this is much more insidious than you think, and you may be doing it without even realizing it. You might be coming from a really good place, just trying to be helpful. There's many different ways that this could show up in a relationship. So if you want to stand out and act differently than most people and create more powerful attraction with a man and create a much better rapport and not turn off the high quality men that you really truly like, then keep watching this video because I'm going to break down exactly what people do, how to avoid it, and why it has such a negative impact on the highest quality of men. And I always get asked, Jason, what do you mean? What is a high quality man? Well, I define a high quality man as someone who matches your intellect, your ambition, your drive, but also your lifelong values and goals. Someone that's looking for a lifelong committed relationship that you're truly attracted to. That is what I consider a high quality man, and that is exactly what this channel is all about, attracting those men. So if you enjoy this video, if you want to keep getting notified of how you can learn different strategies and tools to attract more high quality men in your life, just click the subscribe button beneath this video and click the thumbs up like button as well to make sure that this video gets shown in your feed more. Now, one of the top selling books on relationships that you may have heard of is called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Now, this is really interesting. They interviewed a bunch of really horrible people, murderers, gangsters, people that have done horrible things to society, and they asked them what they think about themselves. And almost, I think, 99 out of 100 of these people that have done horrible things to other people always think that in their heart, deep down, they're a good person. And they were able to justify everything that they did, and nothing stopped them from truly believing that they were a positive benefactor to the world and that they're truly a good person. Now, that is crazy, first of all, but it tells us something really important. It tells us that deep down inside, people always believe that they're doing the best that they can and that they, have some feeling of being good or right or a feeling of self-importance. In fact, that's a basic human need, is this feeling of self-importance, but I'll get to that in just a second. You know how before I mentioned that you might criticize someone without even realizing it? Oftentimes, this shows up in the form of advice giving. Now, advice can be even soft and gentle. If we see someone that needs help, is struggling, or maybe they're just trying to achieve something that we have a lot of experience in, that we can give them really good feedback in, we might offer them some of our experience and say, well, I see that you're doing this, but why not try this, right? And that seems pretty logical and normal in a relationship. You want someone who's going to be helpful to you and you to them. However, advice giving almost always is met with a feeling of, #1, defensiveness, like what's wrong with what I'm doing? Are you saying that I'm not good enough? Or #2, even if they listen to you and take your advice, there's still going to be a hit to their pride and ego. So even if you're trying to help people by telling them that what they're doing isn't necessarily the best thing and there's a better way to do it, there's almost no situation where that is the best way to go about it. In fact, it's been proven again by social scientists that the absolute best way to help people is through praising them on the right actions. People always do better when they're praised that they're doing the right thing, as opposed to criticized and being given advice for something that they're not doing the best way possible. There's this idea that you can't help someone unless they want to be helped, they need to be helped, and they ask to be helped. And it's very rare that all three of those things happen. And until all three of those things happen, it's just not helpful. That's why this YouTube channel actually works, because you're coming here on your own volition. I'm not shoving this down your throat and saying you have to sit here and watch this video. You're actually coming to me and wanting to hear my experience from all of the people that I've worked with. So just to sum that up, advice giving, rarely a good idea. Another case that I see really often is if a woman is dating a guy and he just does something that is a really big turnoff and she ends up dumping him or ending the relationship or even just criticizing it in the hopes that he'll change. Well, first of all, let's talk about this. This is really, really important. In one of my previous videos, I talk about setting a red velvet rope in front of you, which is basically creating a standard that men who interact with you have to cross the threshold and treat you with a certain quality and respect and value for you even to let them into your world, for you even to let them into the club of you, because you have such high standards, because you're such a high value woman. The moment that you start criticizing someone, you're basically telling them, listen, you're not really doing a good job to get in here, but I'm going to give you a little tip because we need more of you in here. We need more guys that aren't really treating women with respect and high value and the way that they deserve to be treated. So I'm going to give you some tips on how to improve. No, that's not the perspective that a high-value, attractive woman takes. She doesn't sit there and coddle a guy that's not treating her in the way that she needs to be treated. She doesn't waste her time trying to teach him or trying to, teach him a lesson or help him. No, she simply walks behind the red velvet rope back into her club of an amazing, ambitious life. She doesn't need to interact and to deal with someone. It's not going to help him anyway. A guy that is treating you a certain way, you're not going to admonish him and all of a sudden, he's going to become a different person. I wish that that's how easy it was and people could just change. But criticism, as I explained before, it's just proven not to be helpful. And almost all people don't even accept that criticism. It just creates, right when someone's getting criticized, it presents instant defensiveness. Almost everyone becomes instantly defensive. So instead of wasting your time and energy trying to teach a guy a lesson or trying to lift him up so he can somehow be on the level to be a good partner, I would encourage you to let him go. And just you having those standards and not even engaging is going to increase your attraction and allow him, if he's a smart guy, to look at himself and how he's treating you and figure it out on his own and change his ways. But if you have to do it yourself, if you have to be the one telling him, then it's just never going to work. I'm telling you right now, he is not going to change. Now, the third way that you may criticize or complain is if you're actually dating someone or have a partner, someone that you feel like the relationship is going well and they're doing something that really upsets you. This is the most difficult thing because we feel really comfortable with this person and we can just criticize them. We could just say, oh, why do you always do that? Or can you please stop doing that? And it's just, it's very natural for us to just be open and say those things. However, once again, it's rarely helpful and it is a huge turnoff. Now, let me explain to you men in general. Men in general, we all, in fact, this is human, we all have egos, we all have pride. And the moment you start telling someone, especially earlier on in a relationship, that they are somehow not enough, that they somehow need to change their ways because their deeper character traits or the way that their actions or the things that they're doing is upsetting you or somehow not up to your standards, it immediately creates a defensiveness and a separation between the two of you. So I'm going to introduce to you a concept that I learned from interviewing over 200 married couples that have been married for over 40 years and asking them what was the secret to a long-term sustainable relationship and also what truly attracted them to one another and why they chose to get married. What I learned was something really incredible, and I call it the bag concept, which you can just say bag the criticisms and complaints and focus on BAG, which is boundaries, acceptance, and gratitude. And I'm going to break each one of these down. As I said, you can't change people, unfortunately. Unless they want to be helped, need to be helped, and ask to be helped, there's really not a lot that you can do. And even if you do try to help them, it's ultimately up to them to make the change. So if you can't change people, all you can do is change yourself. Meaning, if someone's doing something that is upsetting or somehow crosses a boundary of yours, what you can do is you can draw a line in the sand. Now, a boundary, and this is really important, a boundary is not something that you tell them they can't do or they have to do. That's not a boundary. A boundary is what you will do if something happens. A boundary is focused on you and your actions, not the other person. So for example, If someone is yelling at me, I'm not going to draw a boundary and say, listen, this is my boundary, don't yell at me again. I'm going to draw a boundary and say, if I'm yelled at, I'm going to leave and not continue the conversation. If I'm treated less than I deserve to be treated with any kind of verbal harassment, then I'm going to walk away and I refuse to engage. So that is an example of a boundary. It's saying if X happens or if A happens, I'm going to do B. This is going to be my reaction, right? If you do this one more time, then I am going to leave this relationship. This is not working for me. That is a boundary. So that is the B part of bad. A, and this is, A is for acceptance. This is truly the key. This is one of the greatest keys to a truly healthy relationship, but also being the type of woman that all the high quality men want, and that is accepting people for who they are. Accepting them for all of their flaws, all of the great things as well, and learning how to accept someone if they do something that you don't like. Because for the most part, you're not going to be able to change them. I'm not telling you to accept behavior that's unhealthy or that's harmful. Just, I would say, many, many things that kind of annoy or perturb us about another person, I need to really ask myself, I get that this is annoying, but is this something that I can accept? Is this something that is a deal breaker? If it's a deal breaker, maybe there needs to be a boundary set. But if it's not a deal breaker, I would encourage you to ask yourself, how can I truly accept this person? Because at the end of the day, all we want as people is to be loved and accepted. That is the deepest gift that you can give to a partner, is deep, true acceptance. So I encourage you to practice acceptance. It's like a muscle that you have to work on and exercise. The more that you can learn to accept people and even situations that you're in, the more that you can be calm, collected, happy, and move to G in bad, which is gratitude. And gratitude is the engine that drives you through a long-term, sustainable, healthy relationship that continues to create powerful attraction between the two of you. Gratitude is the one thing that can move you through the things that you need to accept. And that's by focusing on the good. Once again, another muscle. The more that you can focus on the good in someone, the better your relationship can get. What we focus on gets bigger. So just to summarize right now, if you criticize or complain about your partner, it almost never is a good idea. So ask yourself, do I need to draw boundaries? Can I accept them? And can I give them deep gratitude and focus on the things that I do like? If you follow the bag concept, the bag principle, and just bag your complaints, you're going to find that this is going to have a huge effect in all areas of your life. People are going to want to spend more time with you for that feeling of gratitude and acceptance that they feel from you. Men are going to be more attracted to you, and you'll find relationships or patterns that you had in relationships where they might have fizzled earlier on and guys may have pulled away. You may find those same guys wanting to move closer and build a longer, deeper, committed relationship. If you like this one training, check out the link in my description. I have a free training where you can actually take some of the principles today and start applying them in your dating life. I go through more concepts and strategies that can help you to attract higher quality men. So just click on the link in the description and sign up today. Thank you so much for watching. I do these videos every single week. Please become a subscriber so you can become a relationship ninja and attract super high quality men. And I will see you next week. Thank you so much.